Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you're listening. My name is Form, and this is Formcast episode, I want to say 69, but I don't know. Again, I think it is 69. It might be 68. But welcome and thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Happy Wednesday if you're listening to this right when they get released. These episodes, weekly episodes, 9 a.m. on Wednesday mornings. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time, because here in Northern Ontario, Canada, we only have one time, and that time is cold. I'm just kidding. It is cold today, though. But hey, summer's around the corner. Guys, I want to talk about something serious today. But when it comes to kind of like setting goals and just kind of getting there and not getting upset with yourself and disappointed, I want to talk about the staircase theory, the staircase things, this analogy thing, whatever. I'll explain, obviously, or else this would be one very short and very confusing episode. But before I want to talk about that, I want to talk about something that happened at my gym today, because it's related to streaming and gaming in general, and I thought it was pretty cool. Now, believe it or not, I work out 5 days a week. Anyways, I was walking out the gym today. Guy in front of me, holding the doors. We're kind of like following each other out. Last door, my man turns and says, well, back to the, it's a Monday morning today when I'm recording this, so weekend's over. Well, back to, the good stuff, and he mentions work. And I said, well, it's not that bad when you could play video games, you know what I mean, all day type thing. That's not necessarily all I do, but, to put into perspective, kind of. And he says, oh, I used to kind of do that. What are you on? And start talking, start chatting. I'm on Twitch. You do that full time? Yeah. How long? 4 years. Oh, you started during COVID, I guess. Yeah, that's right. What do you play? Me and my boys are big Warzone guys. We play all the time. He's like, I actually started streaming on Mixer. Now, if you don't know, Mixer used to be a platform that a lot of people started on back in the day. It folded. It disappeared. Twitch came along, and he said it was really hard for him to get started, or restarted, I should say, on a new platform called Twitch at the time, and kind of grow a following and bring people over from one, platform to the other and all that kind of stuff. Almost kind of like what we see with like Kick, I stream on Kick, and I don't stream there exclusively, so multi-streaming there, you're kind of just hoping for someone new to come in there, but obviously your audience goes to where they want to watch, which for me, that is Twitch. But anyways, so he says, yeah, we still play all the time. My partner was overseas in a different country at the time, so it was easier for me to have the time to get things done, and it's just so much work and so much time. I was doing other stuff, and just kind of like the burnout of streaming and content creation itself kind of hit there, I guess. But needless to say, he asks me for my channel name. He says, I'll check you out, all this kind of stuff. It was just absolutely both like heartwarming, but also shocking that I live in a Northern Ontario city with like 50-some thousand people. It's a small city. I go to the gym. It's the same people at the gym. Like, there's rarely any new faces, right? And for someone to know what Twitch was, I've already explained to a few people like what I do for work, and everyone's usually just confused. They don't understand it. They don't know what Twitch is, what streaming is, how to even be live on the internet. But for someone to understand what Twitch was, how gaming works, how streaming works, but also to have already done it themselves, pretty cool. And as I just started this episode, I opened up my Twitter and I got a new follower, just kind of some random account, happens to be my boy. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't happen very often. Not like I was recognized from being seen on the internet or anything like that. God forbid that happens. But it's pretty cool that someone asks what you do for work. They realize and they understand what you do, especially as a content creator, and they follow up in checking out your stuff. With that being said, staircase analogy. I want to talk about this because it's something that was recently shared with me, but that makes so much sense. Now, the staircase analogy, I'm not going to give, obviously, like the perfect definition, but I'm going to give you my definition of what it is, and I'm sure you could relate. So you set yourself goals in life, right? Whether it's in work or personal or sports or whatever. You set yourself goals. And it's really difficult sometimes that when you set that goal of like buying a house, when you set that goal of losing weight, when you set that goal of growing your streaming channel, when you set the goal of starting a business and making it successful, you always have these end goals in mind. And everyone knows that, you know, it's not necessarily like what the goal is, but it's the journey, it's the how you get there, and just kind of focusing on smaller chunks in order to get to the bigger goal, right? I think that's common sense, but how you really, I guess you can say, put that into like a visual, learning moment is looking at a staircase. You have 100 stairs to climb, not flights, just individual stairs. When you look at a staircase, it is shaped in the form of an L, right? It goes up, then it stays flat, then it goes up again, stays flat, goes up again. Oftentimes when we look at, figuring out how to get to our goal, it's like, man, I can't get there. I can't grow my channel. I can't start my business. My business isn't growing. I'm not losing the weight. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting there. I'm not getting there. I'm not getting there. Not getting there. Then all of a sudden, super major disappointment. You might things like, I'm never going to get all of this done. I'm never going to make this work. But what's really important is that when you look at a staircase, when you reach a smaller goal, you want to lose weight, for example, you want to lose 50 pounds, and you lost 5. It could still be disappointing, right? You step on the scale for the first time in a while. You've been working out, eating good. You lose 5 pounds when you thought you should have lost 10, for example. You are at the top of the upper part of that stair, that first step. You achieved a goal. But now you got to go forward a little bit. There's no way you can reach the other up part of that stair, of that step, without going forward. And that's called progress. And when you actually make yourself smaller goals, you're moving along that stair. Now imagine yourself as a little person on this stair, not a general foot, right? You climbed up that giant straight up, you hit your goal, and now you're walking along that long path forward to hit that other wall where you go up and you hit your next goal. It's really important to realize in life that just because you're not exactly where you want to be, doesn't mean that where you are is not where you're supposed to be. And I think that's super important to understand. And I think that's something that I've been recently kind of trying to figure out and trying to, drive into my own brain, because it is really easy to forget that you've made so much progress only because that long forward walk to the next upper part of that step to hit your next goal is sometimes really long. And you could think about this because some staircases, some steps are really wide, some are narrow. So take that analogy and bring that into your real life when it comes to all your goals that you want to meet. Buying a house, for example. I haven't owned a house in some time and currently renting. Not what I want to be doing. I don't like putting my money in somebody else's pocket. Makes sense, right? But if I look back, well, I'm not at my parents' place anymore. I'm not in the situation I was before. So I'm slowly walking in terms of that goal, buying a house. I'm slowly walking there, right? Trying to save a little bit of money, trying to invest the money that I save in order for it to make its own money and to, a down payment, all that kind of stuff. Walking along these little steps in order to get towards that next wall, to hit the next goal, and then to continue on the next step. I mean, if you got to do 100 different steps to hit a goal, it's going to take you some time. You got to learn patience. You got to learn that mental capacity, willingness to look at the bigger picture and see where you've come and see the progress you've made, and realize that just because you're not on step 99 out of 100 immediately when you start trying to push for a goal doesn't mean that you're not on step 27 out of 100 or 45 out of 100. It just means that you got a few more steps to go and that you're not at step number 1, but you're a lot further than you believe. So when it comes to figuring out, what your next thing to do is and how to not be overwhelmed and how to not just quit on what you want to do, you have to realize that there's a lot of steps, but the only thing you should focus on is not step 100. It is literally the next one in front of you. And that could be a little tiny goal on that flat part of the stair, when you're just walking forward, moving forward, progressing forward in the smallest minute amounts that you may need to in order to get to that wall where you take that leap, you complete a goal, and now you're on step 99 out of 100 out of nowhere because you've been putting in the work. Something to think about, something to invest your mind into, because I think it's really important, because you're doing good work. You are putting in the effort. You are achieving step after step after step, no matter how small. Goal setting is not about hitting, your top goal right off the bat. It's about setting a realistic and an achievable goal, but then setting those little tiny steps ahead in order to get to where you want to be. I hope this makes sense. I hope this resonates with some of you listeners. And I hope to talk about a few things like this more in the future, because I don't think they're talked about enough. And I think when someone speaks about these things or you listen about these things, all of a sudden you can relate to them a little bit more and you realize, well, I guess I'm not doing that bad. I really hope you guys enjoy these. I really thank you for listening. And of course, we'll catch you next time, guys. Cheers.